to wrap this up.
So after Dad talked to me, then I got to thinking about what I should do, and I made the decision to go and enroll in Kansas State.
Now, were you dealing with any of, and this was my question actually, that I was not going to tell you before I switched tapes. Were you dealing with any stress disorder? I got post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes, I was.
Okay, tell me about that.
It was just the feeling that I didn't have any base. My feet weren't on the ground. I was like floating.
You didn't have a purpose?
That's right. I didn't at that time. The only thing I knew was I was going to go to college. I had no idea what I was going to go into, what I was going to do, nothing. That college was the thing that I should do. But no plans for anything.
Did you have an interest of what you could major in or what you would want to do?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to be a coach because I had been so impressed with two coaches that I had played under in high school that really shaped my life. The first guy was named Henry Shank, and the second guy was Bob Briggs. And I think really the reason I went to K-State was because Bob Briggs was a graduate from K-State. And I had seen him play football at K-State. And those two guys really meant a lot to me. And probably helped shape me going into education. I didn't think of education per se. I was thinking about coaching.
So these two coaches inspired you, and you went to K-State. Let me back up. I'm sorry. Your dad sits you down. Tell me about that conversation.
Well, let's see. He said, you know, John, he said, there has to be a purpose in life. You have to select the way that you want to go. And when you select that way, put everything you have into it. Don't give it a half-hearted deal. So that's about really what he said to me. He didn't talk to me an awful lot about things like that. He
Stoic?
pretty much let me go until I guess I'd run into a wall or something, and then he'd tell me or give me his advice as to what to do.
But when he said something, it was gold.
That's it. That's like, you know, a kid, I'd be out playing, and it was supper time, and my mother would call, Johnny, time to eat. I said, yeah, Mom, I'll be there. And pretty soon she'd call me again, and I said, yeah, I'm coming. And the next thing was my dad's whistle. No words, just a whistle.
You knew. I don't have the whistle down, but I have the look. My kids know when they get the look, that's it.
Yeah, well, that's the way my three were too. I mean, it's amazing how they pick that up, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I think I've learned that very well, and I'm good at it, I'll say. Okay, do you have any more military experience after that?
No.
So your fears never came true?
No.
Did you ever see anyone about the post-traumatic stress that you had experienced?
They didn't do that in those days, Greg.
Yeah.
You just were on your own. Whatever you could do to overcome it. That's how a lot of the guys, like you said, became alcoholics. Because there wasn't anybody to lead them or guide them or anything else.
Have there been reunions or anything like that?
No. No. We were so scattered. Like one of the guys lived up in Torrington, Connecticut. One of them lived in Washington. One of them lived in New Mexico. They were just scattered all over the United States. They went back to, I guess, where they originated from, and they didn't want to go anyplace else. It felt like, okay, you've had me for X amount of time. Now, leave me alone. Don't bother me. I'll take care of it. That's not a good way to be.
No.
It's hard to describe. It's just a feeling that, hey, this is my life. I don't want you to interfere in it in any way, shape, or form.
Because you've given up so many years of it for them. Now it's almost like,
Yeah, you're right. I still feel that love. We go out to Fort Riley and decorate my granddad and grandmother's graves. And it just kind of leaves a bitter taste in my mouth when I have to do what they tell me to do in order to get out to that cemetery. Instead of me, I know where I'm going, I know how to get there, just let me go. But no, I have to stop and they have to tell me what to do, and I resent that.
and it never goes away, does it?
No. I'm sure it never will.
Yeah.
That's not nice to say, but that's the way it is with me.
Sure. It's human nature, I think.
Yeah. But my wife, Patricia, she always says, John, there has to be a way of forgiveness. I can't find it. Bitter, I guess. And it was hard when I went back to school that freshman year
In what way?
to abide by all of the rules and regulations that the university had. In fact, I went there one semester at K-State, and it was at the time, Greg, when all of the GIs were coming back to school. My first class was at 6 o'clock in the morning. My last class was 10 o'clock at night. I sat in an English class that had 3 rooms. The prof sat out in the hallway on a mic and instructed us. 3 different classrooms. And, first test we took, I can remember this to my dying day, I got a 97 out of 100. I thought, man, I did great. He put the stinking scale on the board and it was a C+.
How's that a C+?
I later found out when we took entrance exams in those days. I later found out that because of these entrance exams, I was put in the top 10% of that freshman class. And that's the way the scale was.
For that percent.
Yeah. Man, that was tough.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, after the semester, you had to stand in line for everything because there were so many people. Just like if you wanted to go to a basketball game, you had to go down there the night before and sit outside to get a seat. So I got fed up with that, and I transferred from Kansas State to Kansas Wesleyan in Salina. And I got my degree there, and then later on, I went back to K-State and got my master's.
In what?
Education.
When did you feel that you had your feet on the ground again?
Probably at Kansas Whistling, probably in my sophomore year.
You found yourself again?
Yeah.
Why do you think? What was the...
Just because of the group of people that were there that were going to school there, and because all the profs showed a special interest in you. You weren't a number like you were at K-State. You were a human being.
So that really made a difference?
Oh yeah. Wholehearted.
When you were in the service, did you feel like you were a number, or did you feel like you were a...
Yeah, I felt like I was a number. 6297993.
Really? That's your number?
That's my number. That's my dog tag number.
So you really were a number?
Yes, absolutely.
So when they started calling you John, it was a good thing?
Yes. Isn't that amazing? After all these years, I can still remember that stinking number.
That's why I thought you were just making up numbers, but
No.
that's really it.
That's it. 6297993. That was my number on my dog tag.
What do you feel about the time you were in the service now? Is it something you're... Well, you tell me.
I'm proud of it. I really am. I felt like I made a worthy contribution. I wouldn't want to do it again. I wouldn't give you $1 million for all the experiences I had, but I wouldn't give you a dime to do them over again either. I've often thought about it and thought, how lucky you were. Here you were, 18 years old, you didn't know squat about anything, come from a little old town in the middle of the United States, and here you are doing this.
You know, you were telling me all these stories, and then you said you got home, and I asked how old you were, and you said 22, and I'm like, 22?
Yeah.
That's a lifetime of experience.
Yeah.
How much do you think that experience shaped who you are now?
Quite a bit. I think it taught me that, hey, regardless of the odds, don't give up. Stay in there and fight. And I think that really was embedded. Because, you know, in the service, nobody's looking after you. You're looking after yourself. And if you don't take the right road, hey, you're going to pay big time in consequences. That's all there is to it. So yeah, I think, you know, I grew up, Greg. That's probably the best way I can describe it. I just grew up. From a kid of 18, well, actually 17 to 22, those years, I grew. Not under anybody's guidance, but by my own choice.
And experiences.
Yeah. Yep. It's a hard way to learn, though, I'll tell you. It's always nice to, well, you know, like our 3 kids. We always felt close to them. We still do. And kind of nurture them. Whereas I didn't have that because I wasn't there to get it. It's an amazing thing how a human brain works.
Anything else?
Nope, that's all I can think of.
See, I told you it was going to be easy.
Huh?
I told you it was going to be easy. Well, thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome.
That was awesome.